What regulations apply to interstate trucks? So an interstate truck are trucks that are driven across state lines. And these are things like semi-trucks, tanker trucks, flatbed trucks, any of those big wheeled vehicles that you see driving on the highway. All of these vehicles that travel interstate are governed by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations. And it's a very long list of rules, and there's a lot of things that they need to follow that are different than a regular driver. Some specifics are that you must be registered with the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Association. You have to have a U.S. Department of Transportation number for the vehicle itself. And if you're making and delivering loads within California, you also need to have a California ID number that's issued by the California Highway Patrol. There are required background checks of drivers that must be made before hiring that driver and allowing them to operate a vehicle interstate. And there's also very strict driving standards. So drivers are required to log their hours of service. In a logbook, they're not allowed to go over a certain amount of hours every day. They must take a certain amount of hours off in between their shifts. Drivers must complete drug and alcohol testing, and their blood alcohol content can never be above 0.04 while operating a vehicle. There are also very strict load and cargo securement rules for interstate trucks. So if a cargo was improperly loaded or secured, then the party who's responsible for that can be held liable for the accident. And most often we see this as using incorrect straps to hold down the load, overloading a trailer with too much cargo, or stacking boxes dangerously on the back of a car. And finally, the trucks that travel interstate, so the really, really big trucks that have the potential to cause a lot of damage and a lot of injury, they're required to usually carry at least $750,000 in liability coverage. And for some carriers, they have to carry up to $1 million or even $5 million. Those higher levels are for buses carrying 15 or more people, or for trucks that are transporting hazardous material.